tonight. Actor Pee Wee Herman, whose real name is Paul Rubens, has died at the age of 70, according to the Washington Post. With his red bow tie and impish antics, he became a fixture of children's television and movies. This is a correction by the Wall Street Journal. An earlier version of this obituary incorrectly characterized Pee Wee Rubens' 2004 guilty plea to a misdemeanor charge of possession of obscene material. The obituary has been corrected. Paul Rubens, the actor and comedian who created and portrayed the children's character Pee Wee Herman, becoming a fixture of children's television and movies. With his red bow tie and impish antics, died July 30 at a hospital in Los Angeles. He was 70. A longtime publicist, Kelly Bush Novak, confirmed his death and said the cause was cancer. A statement attributed to Mr. Rubens asked his fans to please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years. An unabashed geek, Pee Wee Herman wore tight gray polyester suits with skinny bow ties and white shoes. He spoke frenetically with a nasally voice. To the dismay of many parents, his catchphrases, especially, quote, I know you are, but, I know who you are, but what am I? Close quote. Became popular adjuncts of the adolescent set. Pee Wee's neighborhood was a curious one, inhabited by Cherry, a talking chair, Pretiri, a blue petrodathalic, and an ant farm that communicated by forming words. Miss Yvonne, the most beautiful woman in Puppetland, in Pee Wee's view, frequently stopped by wearing worm-like gowns. Critics called Mr. Rubens' alter ego petulant and sweet, and they marveled at his stardom, which by the end of his career had outlasted the actor's arrest on indecency and obscenity charges. It could be said that he appeals to young audience because he represents the confusions of a boy who refuses to grow up, that he's a Peter Pan of the shopping mall era. New York film critic Pauline Kael wrote in a 1985 review of the movie Pee Wee's Big Adventure, but there's another element in the character. Like a lot of teenage consumers, he's hooked on American kitsch. Experts on adolescence said his appeal was obvious. Paul Rubens is a clown in a long tradition of clowns who act like babies. A.V. Siegler, the director of the Child, Adolescent, and Family Clinic of the Postgraduate Center for Mental Health in New York, told Rolling Stone in 1987, Pee Wee's allies himself on the child side against the grown-up world. Boundaries between reality and make-believe, past and present, child and adult, are subverted, released, or obliterated. Pardon me, I messed that up. I apologize. Mr. Rubens developed the Pee Wee character in the late 1970s while performing with the Groundlings, a Los Angeles improv group. I used to have a little harmonica, a little teeny one about 1 inch long, and it said Pee Wee on it, and the name stuck, he told Rolling Stone. In 1981, Mr. Rubens starred in The Pee Wee Herman Show, a not exactly PG satire of children's television that sold out nightly at Los Angeles' Roxy nightclub. The show later became an HBO special and is considered a cult hit. Mr. Rubens as Pee Wee became a frequent guest on Late Night with David Letterman and other talk shows. With his popularity skyrocketing, CBS producer Judy Price tried to persuade him to do a live-action children's show, a novelty given that animated shows were cheaper to produce and more likely to succeed. It was the classic Hollywood story. Mr. Rubens told United Press International, I'll go to that very time. I came home, there was another Judy Price message on my answering machine. He finally agreed and said Pee Wee's Playhouse debuted in 1986. The movie Big Top Pee Wee followed in 1988. Mr. Rubens' reputation was damaged when he was arrested in 1991 at an adult theater in Sarasota, Florida, and charged with indecent exposure. Detectives did not know that they had arrested the actor who portrayed Pee Wee Herman. The Associated Press reported until Mr. Rubens volunteered his identity. Pee Wee's Playhouse had already been canceled, and CBS quickly dropped the remaining reruns of its Saturday morning children's television programming. Mr. Rubens pleaded no contest and agreed in a deal with prosecutors to co-write and co-produce an anti-drug public service commercial. Mr. Rubens again attracted scrutiny in 2001 when Los Angeles police conducted a search of his erotica collection. In 2004, he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of possession of dismissed a more serious charge of child pornography. After his 1991 arrest, Mr. Rubens maintained his acting career but took a long-year hiatus from Pee Wee Herman. He appeared in movies including Batman Returns and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, both 1992, and Matilda, 1996, among many others, for The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. He collaborated with filmmaker Tim Burton. They also worked together on Pee Wee's Big Adventure. On television, Mr. Rubens acted on shows including Murphy Brown, Everybody Loves Raymond, Ally McBeal, I really like that show, Rugrats, and 30 Rock. He also played criminals on NBC's The Blacklist and in the film Blow, 2001, about a cocaine kingpin. Mr. Rubens eventually revived Pee Wee Herman, including for a Broadway production of the Pee Wee Herman Show in 2010, and the 2016 movie Pee Wee's Big Holiday. I worked it to some degree, you know, he told the New York Times in 2010 of his signature character. It got made into something different. The shine got taken off of it. But at a certain point, I just wanted to have a better ending to my career. He also said, more than anything, I felt like I love Pee Wee Herman, and I love what it was and what it is and what it can be. Paul Rubens was born on August 27, 1952, in Peekskill, New York. His father was an American military pilot during World War II, and later a founding member of the Israeli Air Force. Ran a car dealership in New York. The family moved to Saratoga, where Mr. Rubens' parents ran a lamp store. His mother was an elementary school teacher. A jokester from an early age, Mr. Rubens began acting at his elementary school. Years later, he remembered that his imagination was fired by the many circus actors who spent their winters in Florida. He told a reporter, perhaps in jest, perhaps not, that if his acting career ever fell through, he would join a circus. Mr. Rubens studied at the California Institute of the Arts and acted on the Los Angeles theater scene before joining the grounding, working as a busboy and selling fuller brushes to support himself. After his early success as Pee Wee, he auditioned for Saturday Night Live, but was not invited to join the cast. He soon found major success with Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Survivors include a sister and a brother. Critics and psychologists were never short on theories about why Pee Wee became so popular, but Mr. Rubens never thought about it much. I don't like to get too intellectual about it, you know, about what's funny. He told the Washington Post in 1985, to me, something either is funny or it's not funny. I don't like stuff that's funny because it's making fun of somebody where you have to know some particular thing for it to be funny, or you have to have some particular background. I just like funny. Pee Wee Herman. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never quit.